welcome to my channel. So I've got a little special thing I want to show you here today. So this here is a stem on a vintage size 18 pocket watch, and this goes in like that, and then this part screws into the watch area here, right where the crown is, and you screw it into a specific depth. In this case here, this tool here is used to grab that and screw that in. So in the case of this watch, when you set the watch or you wind the watch, if you watch very carefully, you'll see that there's right there these four pieces of metal that are wrapped around the stem. When you pull out on these, you'll see that they separate ever so slightly, like that, right? So that is how it clicks into place when you pull it out to actually set the time, or when you push it in, it snaps. This opens up and it snaps. So in the case of this watch, they're way too tight. So what I'm going to do is actually lubricate right in there to allow this some freedom, so it can actually pull out without getting too stuck. Like I don't have to use Herculean force to pull this out. So I'll use a grease to lubricate this. So the grease I'm using is called Microgliss D5. This is the grease right there. Expired in 2017. I'm not sure what that means because the grease still works no problem. It's micro grease, Mobius, Swiss made. These things cost a fortune. They always put these crazy expiry dates on them. Anyway, so I'm going to use a little bit of this stuff, and in my watch, my device here that's second from the end, it's this grease right there. So, and I want to make sure I put enough on there so the metal actually flows nicely through there. So let's just grab this and see if I can fix this issue. Grab this here like that. Take a little bit of microgliss. I may have to put a little bit more in here because it seems to be a little bit on the empty side. So let's fill this up a bit and I'll be right back. There, it's filled up quite nicely right now. Like I put a bunch of that stuff in there. So now I'm just going to lay on some microgliss onto this part here and see what happens. Just put it on there liberally. So I want this to be able to slide up nicely, and all the leftovers that are on the outside, I might use my Rodico to clean that up. But we'll just put this stuff on there like that. Close that down and just put the oiler back, and then I'm just going to see if I can work this around a bit. I may have to get a pin vise to grab onto this actually to pull this out properly. Alright, I got this in a pin vise now. I'm going to put a little bit more of D5 on there just to make sure I've got enough to get past that hump. Make it not so difficult to pull this thing out. Oh my God. You'd think if the watch is this old, which it is, an 1800s watch, it wouldn't be that difficult. So here we go. Let me push that down now. So this should just push and go right over. Come on, do it. Like that. There we go. So that went out nicely. I pull back and that goes out like that. And then I push in and it pushes the whole thing into my I'm not too concerned though. So I'm going to basically use some Rodico to clean this up a bit. I squeezed down quite a lot on that, but when the crown is in, this floats over a little nicer. So I'm just going to like that. This 1800 stuff, I'm telling you. It's old stuff. This is going to push in again. I need it to be braced in there, so I'm not going to bother right now. So that is in the crown out position right now, and I want that to be in the crown in position. So that's good there. And then I'm going to tap this just a bit with some Rodico to make sure that I don't have too much oil on here that's going to find its way in other places of the watch. So just get rid of some of that oil with the Rodico. I think that this has some oil here as well. And just work on this just a bit like that. Fold the Rodico over and then a little bit like this. So now on the end here, what I want to put on this here is just a touch of adhesive. So I want to use, likely use, what is it? I'm going to go into my stuff here, and I'm going to use partially sticky. What do I got here? Hang on. Thread lock, Loctite thread lock. So I want removable thread lock here, which is the 242. So you just want to grip it just a bit. So I'm just going to put a bit of thread lock on that. So then when I turn this in and lock it, it's not going to do much moving, but I can still move it. So I want to have it like that. And get this needle out of the way. Oh my goodness, the needle. Yeah. I know eventually when I get this needle sticking in this thing, I'm going to jab myself with it. So you're going to hear me scream like a girl. So there we go. So I want to put a little thread lock on there before I put it back in. And I just jabbed myself with this in my finger. Can you believe it? I predicted it and then it hit my finger. I probably could draw blood. What do you think? Can I draw blood? No. All right. So I want to put this back in, and it is in the out position, I think, right now. It'd be really nice if I could get it in the in position, if I could just push this super hard. No, that ain't working. Maybe if I just hold it down like this and push it. Do you think? Let's see if that works. There we go. So that's on the in position right now. There we go. And this is the way it was when I set it. So that means that when this is there, this is in the hand setting position. So I put this back in like that, and before I throw it all the way in, I'm just going to put a little bit of thread lock on that. Just a bit, like that, and that'll find itself around the circle of life. And I'm just going to put this in here, and I'll just get it set for screwing in like this, and I can screw it down just a bit here before I deal with that. There we go. And then I get the this device here, and it's got two little knobs here that you put in place like that, and you turn this. Now I find it easier to turn the pocket watch case rather than turning the whole thing. So I'm just going to turn it like that. Now I had this preset, so I look at this compass here is made for measuring, and I measured it from the inside here to see how close this needed to be, right, to preset it. So I just take the compass here and put this on the edge like that, and this has to go in just a bit more. I can see from where it's sitting that this would have to go in just a bit more. And let me just see if I can do this here. So let's say I get a couple more turns, like maybe 1 and 2. I think it slipped a bit, but let's have a look at this now again. So 2 turns, it looks a bit better. And again, it's a test thing, so I have to putting that in, and I'll end up testing it. So there it is there, and I'm just going to measure from the rim to the top. And that actually is too far out. So I got to turn it the other way. There was too many half turns there, so it's too deep now. Let me get my device or my tool in here like this, and then do 1 turn like that, and then get my compass out again and measure from the rim here to the edge, and it looks about right for the test. So that is about right for the test. And now I've got to put the movement inside the case. Now this movement is the Bride of Frankenwatch, or the Frankzilla, and I did a lot of work on this, and I went in today again. I did more work on this watch to see if I can somehow get this thing in a decent condition. Before I put this on, though, I should screw the crown on. That's probably a good habit to get in. So I just take the crown here, and you can hold this with your hand and just very carefully screw the crown down like that. and we'll tighten that after once I get it in like this. That's good enough for the fit, because I'd have to take it out if when I'm final fitting it, right? So we just move this around into position. That's good there, and that goes in like that. Now this is in the hand setting position. It seems to be working. I can tell. You can actually tell by the feel of the thing, right? So now if I push this in like that, is that going to wind? Yes, it is. So that depth, I think, is perfect. So we'll go with that for now, because it seems to be setting and winding, which is a really nice thing here. So put the case screws in again, very carefully. And I said carefully, didn't I? I always angle the pocket watch away from where the balance is when I put in the case screws, even though it's a little awkward. It kind of ensures that my case screws are not going to jump out and have a problem with falling into the balance, which you don't want. So just do that. Now this is the Bride of Frankenwatch, or Frankzilla, I've called this watch. And I've been at this one for quite a while. And this is for Phil. And I really want to get this thing working well, right? It's kind of a bit of a depressing watch right now, but right now it's running very well, and the problem with it was overbanking. So have I solved the overbanking problem? I actually don't know yet. So we're just going to let this run overnight again, and it's running quite healthy. And now it seems to be able to be set and stuff. I don't think I'm even going to put the hands on until I'm sure that it's running well. But I'm very pleased with the work there. So that seems to be winding nice. And then when I pull it out, let's just grab it from the edge like that and pull it out. How hard is it to pull out is always the question, right? There we go. That wasn't too bad. And it seems to be setting nicely, as you can see. So I'm not putting the hands back until this thing is good, and then I'll clean the face up a bit and call it a day. So that's the video, a little bit of work on the crown and stem system here, just to put a little oil in there to make it easier to pull that out, and use the D5 microglass oil. So thanks for watching my channel. Again, I'm JD. Please subscribe, please hit like. You're going to get detailed videos like this from me.